You doers, good evening, good morning, depending where you're watching this transmission. It is I, your humble servant, Mike Martins. Coming again at you at a late Sunday night with Rants and Lifestyle. It's Mike in the Night, and I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. I got a really special show I put together for you guys tonight. I really want to get it out there. So before we kick off anything, the date is January 22nd, 2018. Month of January has pretty much burned away in 2018. And we got the chat open now. Remember, we're 1,000,000% teleprompter free. This is Rants and Lifestyle. You just talk about what's on your mind, what's happening, if something's troubling you, some war, if someone's having a hard time with what's happening with banks fixing interest rates, or I got a few stories up here I really want to cover with you guys. And I'm here. Teleprompter free. Lines are open. Let me check my phones. We got our IP tracer up and running. So if anybody wants to crank call, go ahead. We'll still get your IP. And everyone's logging in the comments section. I'm really happy. It's Mike in the Nights. Thank you for joining me on a Sunday night or early Monday morning, depending where you're picking up this broadcast. I want to thank all the different little tiny syndicates that are picking up my show and throwing it out there and throwing and debating some of my points of views and some of the housing and banking discussions and stuff. And it all, you know what it boils down to, guys? It's not how smart you are. It's not what you know. It's not what you think you could do, or it's not even that. It's basic textbook common sense. That's it. It all boils down to common sense. You don't need a degree to send rockets to the moon. You don't need extravagant thoughts. All it is common sense. And it's cheaper to love your neighbor than to hate your neighbor. It's more taxing on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Wow, I got quite a few people already tuning in and watching. Comments are flowing. And open lines, area code 250-800-1489. It is January 23rd, and it's I, Mike in the Night. I don't know if you guys remember a few videos I put together. A video I put together last week discussing, looking at different platforms to maybe get my show out there. I'm not looking to be famous. I'm already famous in the Portuguese-speaking world. I am very well known in the Portuguese-speaking world in Portuguese Africa. I've done several videos that have been submitted to the African film festivals in Portuguese. All my debates are being discussed in universities in Angola and Mozambique and Guinea-Bissau. So I've already achieved that. I kind of tried my best to make the world a better place, making videos about African countries basically will never be anything because it will never be taken seriously because it's easier to manipulate a fraudulent country or a corrupt country, right? So much easier to corrupt a corrupt country than a democratic elected country that's going to help its people, right? And that's what Africa's been suffering with for a long time. But anyways, everyone's logging in here. I am really good. I'm really good. I feel good. It is I, Mike in the Night. Sunday night, Monday morning, wherever you're catching this transmission, the comments are booming, and so like I said, I'm working on different platforms. I just want to talk. I'm not even researching anything. I'm not even looking. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if I'm going to research something, I usually research stocks I'm going to invest in, and we don't even talk about that. If I'm going to research thing, I research maybe what kind of car I'm going to buy. I don't even talk about that. This is just plain old common sense. This is like 1 + 1 is 2, but now 1 + 1 is 43 for some bizarre reason. And we have to accept that. And I'm just talking, that's how you resolve problems. And oh wow, everyone's signing in right now. Look at that. Anyways, let's kick off. Remember guys, I'm teleprompter free, so I want to kick off a small plug here for myself. There's my Trends in the Housing Market show. Don't forget to join me every Wednesday night. There's my housing crisis rants and discussion, my Rants and Lifestyle. game store business from scratch. I open a game store from scratch, and there's about 60, 70 videos of repairing the place and basically taking it to the next level. There's my starting a home business from scratch, which is very good, people. I am like in the stars right now with that. Holy smokes. Commodities on the up right now. Yes, looks like we're going to be going to war, and we'll be talking about that later in the show. And Living the Dream series, I left the city. There's me in Vancouver, and there's me now in my new home. Check out my new home I bought here. It's going to be 1 year in February 1st that I've been living in my new home. And just stuff I got going on, you know. I just want to do a quick plug here so we can move on. Now, I got this here. I got this article. I was going to make a single story about it, get people to comment on it. But this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. So I think something needs to get done. I think a lot of the liberals need to listen up. Especially a lot of the leftists need to pay close attention to what's happening here. Because everything's happening for good and it's a great world. What's happening? Listen to this. As a Canadian or an American citizen, if you're told this, with socialized medicine, at $262.40 per pill, the cancer drug that could save her life isn't covered in British Columbia. Yeah. $262.40 per pill is the cancer drug that could save her life isn't covered. Yeah. I don't know, guys. This is discussion. Why is this happening in a socialized medicine environment that we're in, where things like this should at least be covered so you could live? You know what I'm saying? I read this story. I looked at it. It's extremely heartbreaking. I hope somebody could step up or I hope something could be done about this. Someone needs to be on this woman's side, because this is what kind of a response do you give to something like that? Yeah, you know, you can live, but you know what? That's how much you got to pay to live. And this is a problem. $262, and for our friends watching this in the Union south of us, that is about $112, $212 American. $212 American per pill. And if you're watching this on Australia, we are at par. And that's about 166 pounds. So Karen McLaren of Langley has stage 4 breast cancer and has been prescribed a drug that could help her. But Victoria, the capital of the island there, or the capital of BC, is refusing to pay for it. Are you friggin' serious? I don't even know what to tell. I don't even know what to tell you people. I'm gonna eat a raspberry. That's the same name of the drug. It's called Ibrance. That's the same name of the drug that the 42-year-old breast cancer patient Karen McLaren can't afford. But it's also a drug that Langley residents can't afford not to have. McLaren, a former model, was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2004. She beat the disease, but it came back with vengeance 10 years later. Now she's living with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. That means the disease has spread to her other parts of her body. What your brain goes to, I've just been given a death sentence, she told Global News. Well, this must be horrifying. Absolutely horrifying, and I really feel for this lady. If she could give her PayPal information here, I would pay for 2 or 3 of her pills easily. I would definitely send her money for 3 or 4 pills. If she's accepting donations, I would more than happy pay for 3 or 4 of her pills just to help her out. You know what I'm saying? So people are commenting in the comment section. And it's saying, sadly, money is being spent elsewhere. Somebody else is commenting, it's called capitalism. And then someone's commenting on Trudeau paying off Guantanamo prisoners instead of helping Canadian proper. Big Pharma don't want to cure cancer. They're making so much money out of it, like those fake pills for $262. And a lot of people are commenting. Jerry McGuire's here. Thank you for joining us. Hello, good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching this transmission. And whatever, like, I did a video earlier about how the more richer people are getting, the more authoritarianism is being built in them, and basically treat everybody like trash, poor people like trash, because they feel that they've achieved something where, I don't know, guys, it's common sense, guys, and everything gets based on. And someone commented in the comment section. Someone's comment in the comment section said that people lost. I don't know who it was, but people lost what common sense was once they reached university and college. Thank God I never went to university. Thank God I can't read. And thank God I stood on my own 2 feet and kind of did my own business thingy, making businesses, showing people, documenting it on film, showing people that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that there's ways to get around in life without being so dependent, on the public sector and the private sector jobs. You could do it. And someone's commenting saying natural cancer cures are being suppressed. I mean, there's so many. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that thing that was floating around Facebook and I had 48 million views of some plant that's in New Zealand or Australia or somewhere out in the outback. I'm not too sure. Okay, where people are being injected with it into tumors, and the tumors disappear within days, if not hours. That was one that actually kind of piqued my curiosity, and things out there to help people and families. And cancer should have been okay, this is my story with like how I understand cancer. Back in the day, cancer was an old person's disease. It was for old people. Long time ago, when a child would have cancer, a doctor would fly in from another city, examine the child, look at it, kind of figure out why it's having cancer when it's an old people disease, right? And it just started popping up everywhere. It just started showing up everywhere. It got to a point where now we're being massaged to believe that 1 in 3 people now will get cancer. Oh, I believe that. I get it. But what is causing it? Is it the plastics? Is it the oils, the petroleum-based products? See, I drink out of glass all the time. I always drink. I never drink out of plastic. I never drink from plastics. I never drink from styrophones. I never drink. Who knows what that crap's made out of? You know what I'm saying? And then people are saying, check out the documentary called Rockefeller Medicine. And then Fukushima. There's another one, Cancer Fukushima. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's causing. But the thing is, if you guys kind of look at the whole big C, the cancer thing, if you go back to the mid-90s, it started becoming a more mainstream thing in the mid-90s to the early 2000s. It started becoming more mainstream and becoming more and more massaged into this. Has medicine advanced so much that now we detect cancer? Back in the day, someone would die and they say, well, they just died, right? But has it, our medicine or whatever, or our healthcare advanced so much now? Oh yeah, that's cancer, by the way, and that's cancer, and that's cancer. Back in the day, we couldn't diagnose that because we didn't have it. But I find that really hard to believe. I think our medicine our technology is getting better, but is our health getting better? You know what I'm saying? And then someone's saying, check out the radiation disposal in Canada and USA. I mean, I was watching a documentary the other day where they're measuring the amount of toxicities in the air and environment that's coming in from... So they're in Seattle. on the beach there in that whole area there, and then they have like 4 outposts, like, or 4 measuring posts of measuring radioactive crap that's in the air or in the waters. So what happened was, from California all the way up in Portland and all that, they set up these like beacons or something to measure the toxicity levels, and the amount of toxicity levels that are coming from China is phenomenal. You would think you'd be out on the Pacific Ocean with your feet in the sand, breathing in some fresh, crisp ocean breeze air, and that's not the case anymore. They're reading such high levels of garbage in the air that's coming across, that's destroying us. And whatever you put into the atmosphere always finds a way or manages to get into our water system. I learned that, I think, in grade 3. Anything that's put in the ground, anything that's put in the air, anything that's put in the waters finds a way to get to our drinking water system. Someone's commenting saying that the Pacific Ocean is dead, garbage and radiation. And what people need to understand is they are promoting getting tested for cancer. That's how they get people into the system. I know. And back in the day, it was like they made friggin' weekend movie series, 3-part movie series on a weekend of a story of some girl that got cancer in the 80s, and then it was this, and oh my God, what's happening? How do we cure this? And now it's like, whatever. It's so mainstream that everyone is massaged into believing that this is, this is the norm. You gotta accept this. 1 out of 3 people. And then give it 10 more years, they're going to say 2 out of 3 people now. And guess what, everyone? You have cancer, but let's figure things out and see what levels you're at. And people are saying, how's the raspberry, Michael? It's really good. It's full of antioxidants. I don't put raspberries in my water. I like infusing my water with lime. My water is always alkaline, people. And alkaline water, people. Alkaline water is something that you guys... preventing cancer. Alkaline your water. And someone say, let's talk about the Australian housing crisis. That is Wednesday night. It's probably Monday morning where you guys are. We talk about Australia Wednesday night. It's the first country on my show, followed by New Zealand, and then followed by... what's that other one? Then it goes to the UK, Canada, and the United States. Wednesday night is Trends in the Housing Market, every Wednesday night. I got a lot of people calling on the Trends show wanting to talk about what's happening in war and blah, blah, blah. And then you got other people calling during the housing market when they, what I'm saying. So people are signing in. I promise you... I will talk about the Australian housing market on Wednesday. There's quite a few things that are brewing down under, and we're going to be covering them for sure. And someone's commenting here, the last video you did on the California housing crisis is right on. We're going to talk about the California housing crisis, bankruptcy, actually. It's up here. So I really send our prayers out to this lady. Really feel for her. And the article's called, if you want to watch it, at $262.40 per pill, the cancer drug that could save her life isn't covered in BC. It's a really sad story, and yeah, I just read it if you guys want, and it's depressing. So I don't know what's been happening, but I got a huge section that says trending on YouTube. And this is my trending stuff on YouTube. I'm not getting anything really interesting to watch. It keeps popping up. So my subscribers are pushed to the side so I can't find them. So this is coming up now. And this is the videos that are coming up under my what's trending. I don't subscribe to these channels. I don't know what it is. And my horrible spelling... Michael Wolff, current affairs, obviously they're bashing Donald Trump. Jimmy Kimmel we ask kids how Trump is doing. It's nobody cares. Skipping in high school. The theory how Star Wars theories killed Star Wars, The Last Jedi. First look at the Nintendo. This is what's trending, people. Beat Sabari, whatever that is. Super Troopers official band trailer. Are you a millennial? This is what's trending, and it's I don't know what this is. I think it's in Chinese. Making my boyfriend jealous prank. He got so angry. There's no nutrition in this, people. Like I mean, we're not analyzing anything here in great depth or perception. We're just talking, right? I mean, let's move on here. So that's what's trending on my YouTube. And Canada's 6 biggest banks accused of rigging rate to boost profits. This is huge. And the reason why I didn't make a single video about this for people to comment and talk about, someone saying trending, okay, someone else is commenting, Mike, are you going to leave YouTube? You know, I it's not that I'm going to leave YouTube. I just, you know, the AdSense is good because all my AdSense get sent to the women's shelter that I've been donating to for many, many years. And directly just sent, I don't even, the transit number, it's all, I don't even get it. Now it feels like it's like they're running ads on my stuff now, and they're telling me it's dangerous, and they're running ads on my stuff and making money. So YouTube's going to make a lot of money if people continue making their videos, right? And someone saying, trending will always show what is trending in your region or country, and it is the same for me. So, yeah. This is, okay, someone's talking about antioxidants. People are becoming deficient, and it's great antioxidant and prevents disease. Yeah, I eat all kinds of fruits. I don't care if it's in season. I go buy it like $14 for some strawberries. I'm like, oh, well, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Canada's 6 biggest banks accused of rigging rate to boost profits. Guys, you know what? I didn't make a story about this today. I should have, but I didn't, and I'll tell you why. Banks have been rigging rates all the time. It's nothing new. Shame on them. But they kind of have to sell their products or to fit the customer with a product that fits them that doesn't really fit them. So if you think the bank is there to help you, well, you are so wrong. Anyways, corruption, making money with money, fractional reserve lending. Everybody knows this. Come on, this is basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Fractional reserve lending. I don't know if you guys know who Gerald Celente is. He's a very beautiful person out of New York. And he's just a beautiful, just absolutely down-to-earth person. He's got a really good show. He's got shows every day. Check out his channel. It's called Gerald Celente. He's just an awesome guy, awesome dude. And he's been talking about rigging rates for like 20, 30 years. He's been talking about rate rigging in the bond market, rate rigging in the banking sector, rate rigging in the stocks, rate rigging in everything. And a lot of his stuff, you know, it goes unheard or unseen. And the guy deserves a little bit more credit, but Gerald Celente is amazing. And this whole fractional reserve lending, watch a documentary about how it works and why it's happening. And, oh, we got somebody calling in. Hold on a sec. Nobody panic here. Hello, you're live.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Hey.
Buddy, great show.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, yeah. It's great. What's going on with
You want to speak up a bit? I could barely hear you, bud.
Oh, how about now?
A little bit better. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling out from there, Toronto area.
Oh, Toronto. How are things in Toronto?
Good. We got the news of the interest rates going up.
Hold on a sec. I could barely hear you, bud. Speak up. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got the interest rates going up. We got the news of that.
I could barely hear you, bud.
Hello?
Yeah, I got my volume cranked up here. Usually I hear people loud and clear. Are you in a base? Are you like underground parking or something, or? Okay, call back. Let's see if he calls back. See if we get a clearer line. I could barely make out a word he's saying there. So hopefully he calls back and lets us know he's calling from Toronto area. So rigging rates, betting on investments, betting on your money. Banks have been doing that for a long. But one bank I think you guys should start looking out for is Deutsche Bank. I think Deutsche Bank is so far in the rears with a lot of things, and the amount of gold and silver they sold on certificate papers, I think it's going to come back and bite them in the butt. Because I had this discussion with you guys last time about how this is how much silver we have in the world, and this is how much papers that we have. Okay, here goes. Let's see if we get this guy. All right, let's see if we got him. Hello.
Oh, hey, Mike. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfect. So you're calling from Toronto. How are things? What's on your mind?
Hey, buddy. I think we're in for housing correction coming up here, bud.
You're breaking up again badly. You're saying we're entering into a housing crisis?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some kind of a correction. Interest rates going up.
Oh yeah, interest rates are going to be going up. Interest rates need to go up because there needs to be a correction in the country's economy, right?
That's right. Well, I heard a talk with you know who Warren Buffett is, right?
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah, I could barely hear you, bud. You're going in and out. You're zoning in and out. I don't think it's my phone because I used it earlier to make a group call, but I go ahead and talk. Hello? Again, I don't know if we're having phone troubles. I don't think so. Could someone else call in and let me know if my phones are working right? Where's Walking Journey? Where are you, Walking Journey? Call in and let me know this phone's working. 6 biggest banks accused of rigging. So what's new? What's new? People are getting screwed over. When they rig the markets, the consumer pays for it. The consumer, the person, the middle class that you're destroying could no longer... It's plain as day. The writing's on the wall. I hope this phone is working right. I mean, that's loud. I hope that's okay. I mean, anyways. So if anyone could call in, let me know. So let's move on with this. It's a fiasco, is what it is. Middle class. Are you middle class? That is the question. Middle class. Let's listen to how it's said.
Middle class.
Uh-huh. That sounds sexy.
Middle class.
Woo.
Middle class.
I love it. Okay, what is the middle class? Are you the middle class? The social group between the upper and working classes, including professional and business workers and their families, relating to the middle class.
Middle class.
That sounds amazing, people. I'm sorry, it just sounds so good. Anyways, are you middle class? That is the question. So let's look at some articles here. Let's start with this one. I think I read this a few weeks back, but I want to touch back on it because there's a lot of people talking that they are
middle class.
And I want to know, what is middle class? Who is middle class? What income level are you in? And someone says, we need a financial reset. What middle class? Yes, middle class is disappearing into working poor. Everyone's talking about saving America's middle class, but just who exactly falls into this group? So America, Canada, it's pretty much on the same, gauge. Even Australia, it's in the same gauge because mind you, a house is a lot cheaper in the U.S., but besides the fact. That's actually a much more difficult question to answer than it seems. While some experts define the middle class by income, others define it by lifestyle. Still, others say it's a state of mind. I believe it's more of a state of mind. Here are 5 different ways economists, federal agencies, and even the White House measure and characterize the middle class. Income. So your income. Whether you're considered middle class most commonly depends on your income, but experts differ now on how much you have to earn to fall in this camp. One of the narrowest definition limits it is to those who are literally in the middle and fifth of the nation's income ladder. A wider characterization includes everyone but the poorest 20% and the wealthiest 20%. I don't think there is, wealthiest 20 of the wealthiest 20%. Okay. It's not 20% of America is wealthy. No, okay, it's of the 20th. Okay, just making sure I confirm this. Displayed below is the Pew Research Center's definition, which is 2 to 2 times the national median income for your household size. So middle class income, your income needs to be within 46,960 to 140 large. Then after that, you become wealthy or independently wealthy. Depending on where you're living, because you make 140 large and you're living in San Francisco, you ain't middle class. You better be shacking up with someone, paying, or 2 incomes, and you ain't middle class if you're living in San Diego. If you're living in Beverly Hills, it's money, but still, how far does it go? I keep telling the people, and I keep telling the same thing. It's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. Who cares how much you make? It's how much you spend. And yeah, so someone's commenting here. Finance and Economics is commenting. Some people have benefited from the asset price gains, but other cash poor when you factor the increase into the cost. Yeah, you make 140 large, but if you're living in Beverly Hills, it means sweet F all, because you're not, you know what I'm saying? But if you're making 140 large and you're living in, let's say, Port St. Lucie, Florida, you're fine. Or you're living in just outside of Baton Rouge, in New Orleans somewhere, Louisiana, you're fine if you make that much money. If you're living outside of Houston, you're fine. So people are commenting here, market manipulation, and someone's asking me, what is my opinion on Prime Minister Trudeau? You know what? It's the same like every other prime minister or anybody that's in power. There's always someone pulling the strings, right? And for a lot of people in Canada, I think it has to do with the monarch in England. I think it has a lot to do with how we're basically, I could never, ever, ever become Prime Minister of Canada, because I'm going to need permission from the Queen of England. Basically, you need to get approved. And then not only that, you have to, what's the other thing? You have to speak French. And I don't speak French. I only speak Portuguese and I speak Spanish. I speak all the American languages. And South America's official language is Portuguese. I do volunteer for census every February for 2 weeks, calling offices and getting their gauging numbers and stuff like that. I do work for census company that takes care of census and languages and stuff like that. Yes, Central America speaks Spanish and North America is English, even though there's 60 to 80 million Spanish-speaking people in the United States of America, which is 3 times the population of Canada. 3 times the population of Canada is the number of Spanish-speaking people in the United States, and it's still not recognized as a second language. But someone's always pulling the strings. So to become Prime Minister of Canada, I think you got a lot of hoops. I don't think it's that expensive. I don't think you need to be a trillionaire and stuff. But I think if you got a really good political platform and people like you and your grassroots and you're there to make a change, yeah. But in all fairness, it's just too much string pulling. Anybody at the top's going to be pulled, no matter what. Yeah, you know what? Merit Mayor run. I might do a video series on it and run for mayor and show people how it is to do it. I don't think I would win, and I don't think I would ever win. But it'd be nice to make and document a nice video series on my channel, just to show people how much it costs, what you have to do, and what you have to set up. Discussions, meetings, political discussions, and blah blah blah. It'd be nice to make a video series for that. I think just for that. I don't think I would win. It's not because I'm not your ideal person that should be in that political thing, because I have a really hard time lying and condescending people. It really bothers me to do that. And in politics, you have to lie a lot to make the masses happy. I can't do that. I just can't. I don't. Even if I was offered a good position in something, it's just having to lie to people to achieve myself in a platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm 40 now. I got a good 25 years ahead of me, and I don't want to overstress myself with putting myself in these precarious positions. You know what I'm saying? And we vote in October. Yeah, it's this year. Make merit great again. Yeah! Anyways, somebody just logged in. Here we go. So are you middle class? So this is middle class. If your family makes $46,000, so that is $59,800 roughly American. We'll put you in the middle class section. Up to 140 large. That's 59,000 Canadian. Sorry, the 140 large is about 177. And 177, if you go back to the housing video I did, how to afford a house, and I was trying to make the numbers work and the TDS to work for the deal to fit. And you needed about 140 to 160 to buy a $700,000 townhouse with 1-car garage and 2 bedrooms. I did the math in Coquitlam. You guys could see the video. It's a few videos back. It's got over 1,000 views now. And so wealth. So this is what classifies you as middle class. Income. Number 2 is wealth. Some Americans may not be bringing in middle class incomes, but they have a lot of savings or investments. This is particularly true of elderly living off their nest eggs. Well, what about those commercials at night? Live off the equity in your house. You are old. You deserve it. Get up to $60,000 over the phone. Instant approval. So, some experts prefer to use wealth as determining the factor. New York University professor Edward Wolf, for instance, defines the middle class as the middle of 3/5 of the wealth spectrum. Those below that threshold are in debt or above or are wealthy. So, if you're in debt, you're definitely puts you into the negative. Doesn't put you in the middle class right off the bat. But if you have $0, but you have no debt, you could be considered middle class because all you make is for what you need to live and lots of disposable income if you have no debt. And for the people that got student loans and stuff, well, I'm sorry if you didn't get the job you were promised that you were told that you would get. And, making your home equity work for you. I don't know if you guys know that, but consumption. So consumption. Let's look at consumption. Another way to define middle class is how much you spend. Oh, I just said that. This more accurately reflects your well-being since income doesn't take into account a non-cash government benefits, such as food stamps or savings, can fluctuate greatly from year to year, says proponents of this measure. The consumption measure used by Notre Dame professor James Xavier Sullivan includes spending on food, transportation, entertainment, housing, and other items. It excludes healthcare expenses and education, which Sullivan says might be considered investments. He defines the middle class as those in the middle of the fifth of spending. So basically, annual spending for a 4-person household. So if you spend this much, roughly, you're in the middle class. 38 large to 49 large, minus housing, entertainment, education, all that other stuff, because that is considered an investment. So let me know in the comments, are you middle class? It says here, home ownership, family vacations, healthy retirement security, a college education for the kids. So does your demographic make up middle class? 0 to 39-year-old, all races, finish high school? Yes. So when you go to this graph and it says, pick your age. I'm right here, 39. I am all races. Did I finish school? Yeah, I did. I finished high school. Did I finish college? No. So I automatically drop down to a straggler, people. I am a straggler. Holy smokes. Let's do this again. Wow. Okay, so according to this demographic scale, does your demographic make up middle class? I am 39 years old. I am of all races. Did I finish high school? Yes. Did I finish college? No. I am a straggler, according to this. I have 0 debt, 0. I own my company free and clear that I opened from scratch. You can watch my series. I sold my company at a huge profit in Vancouver, my department store. You can look at that I did really well and I built from scratch. And I own my house free and clear. And I used that money for a down payment in Vancouver and said, I'm leaving the city. Screw it. I'm going to own a house free and clear. And you can watch that here in my Living the Dream series. So where's my Living the Dream? Here it is, my Living the Dream series. So basically, I do a video of a tour of the house I bought for $260,000. That's 260 grand. Okay, that's about 200,000 US that I paid for this house. It's got multiple bedrooms. It's got many bedrooms. I got a gym now. There's the office from before. Look at that, people. Wow, look, this is the room I'm in right now. Look at the doors. It looks so crappy. I got to get that washroom done, by the way. But yeah, so what happens is I am put as a straggler. Wow. I am put as a straggler. So someone's saying, what about the chip reverse mortgage? Yeah, that's all the crap, and she's says sounds shady. Yeah, it's big time. It's big time sounds shady. Lots of middle class. So I'm reading the comment section for those listening to us on our podcast or radio. Lots of middle class get deep in debt because they are offered high credit limit by banks than the poor, and they buy lots of liabilities. Some rich and richer because they buy assets. So they fall out of the middle class. So okay, so according to this, I am a straggler. Okay, so let's look at... Wow, I love it how it breaks it down from white, Asian, black, Hispanic. So basically, if you didn't finish college, you're a straggler. And right here, if you... So, okay, hold on a sec. So if you're 40 to 61, you're white or Asian, and you're finished high school, okay, you finished high school, and you finished college... No, you're still middle class. Wow. And if you finish college, yes, you thrive. So if you didn't finish college, and you'll be middle class if you are white or Asian. But if you're black or Hispanic and you finished high school, yes, you finished college, you are a straggler. But if you finished high school and you finished college, you are middle class. So who are the thrivers? 0 to 39, finished college. Nope, not even them. So it's 40 to 61, white Asian, finished high school, finished college is a thriver. And the next thriver is 62 years old, white Asian, finished high school, finished college. Whether you didn't finish college or you finished college, you're still a thriver. Wow. Guys, check this out. It's on CNN, Counterfeit News Network. CNN Money, the article is called... Doesn't even have an article name. CNN Money, and doesn't even have the date on the article, too. But I want you guys to take a look at this. Look it up. Am I middle class? Look that up. So, apparently I am a straggler. God, I don't know if you guys remember that metal band. So... depends on what degree you have achieved, says Finance and Economics. Yeah, it makes a big deal. So check that out, guys. Let me know what you guys think of that. I just...
Middle class.
Oh, God, that sounds so sexy.
Middle class.
Woo! Okay, so I looked at this. Who belongs to the middle class? This is a Canadian one. It's from February 2014. It's older, but it's got a little blurb in here. I read this a few months back. I want to read it again. In 1858, editorial in Brooklyn Daily Times. Walt Whitman declared, the most valuable class in any community is the middle class. Men of moderate means, living says, and the rate of $1,000 a year or thereabouts. At that time, $1,000 a year was considered to be the income cutoff that separated those who toiled in the manual labor, earning just enough to survive, from skilled workers in cities who represented the engines of economic growth. Since then, of course, most Western societies have progressed from an industrial economy to one driven by services, populated largely by middle class. That, many believe, is being left behind. This has become a popular theme for federal Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, who has made the plight of the Canadian middle class the cornerstone of the campaign messaging ahead of his next year's federal election. So it's an older article, but So it says here, how to measure middle class itself and how it's proven to be much harder today than it was for Whitman back in 1858. So this article is really good. It goes into the math and different things to look at. So California has the highest poverty rate in America. This is nuts, people. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, what's happening. Like this, California is very important to monitor because it's a very liberal state. It is very socialized. It does have a GDP and economic growth probably bigger than all of Canada. California, I think its population is bigger than Canada. A lot of people did move to California back in the early 80s and late 70s. California was booming because of its temperate climate, and it was the scene. It was the basically what's going on in California at that time. California was a big deal. If you guys ever want to see a movie, God, I gotta remember the name of that movie, guys. There's a really good movie that takes place in 1981 California, sorry. It's an amazing movie. If I get the title off the top of my head. Remember, guys, I'm teleprompter free. And it's me, Mike in the Night, ushering you into your Monday morning, wherever you are. And someone's commenting here, depends on what degree you achieve. Most degrees are worthless. Yeah, they're not even worth the paper. There's a lot of people getting law degrees that are worthless because you get 20,000 or 30,000 lawyers graduate every year. How many lawyers do you need in the country? How many, you know what I'm saying? Someone commented here, that chart would indicate Bill Gates is a straggler then. He dropped out of higher education along with several other people. I never went to college. I was told that I was a waste of time for me.
Middle class.
Oh, that's awesome.
Middle class.
Somebody call in and see if my phone's broken. I need to know if my phone's working or what's going on. I had a gentleman call in from Toronto, wanted to tell me what's going on out there, but unfortunately, I could barely hear what he's saying, and I don't know if it's my phone. And let's continue here. California has the highest poverty rate in America, and it's really sad how the divide in California is becoming so severe from the poor to the rich. Extremely rich. Middle class is basically being put in a position where do I pay for my rent or do I buy food? It's getting to that position. 5 years ago is do I buy my medicine or do I pay my rent? Now it's like, do I buy food to live? Never mind the medicine. Do I buy my food? Anyways, guys, don't forget to call in. Open lines, area code 250-800-1489. It is me, Mike in the Night. I'm going to wet my whistle here. And, yeah, and I'm really happy, with the decisions I've made, and, wanting to start a family was a big deal for me. And I just couldn't do it in the big city. I couldn't do it in Vancouver. I could make ends meet, but I just couldn't get the bang for my buck or what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so that's starting my business from scratch. Really good video series, guys. Watch that, please. Watch that. I teach you shipping tricks, ideas that I've been doing that are working out for me, and it's becoming very, very lucrative, if you want to say it that way, in a good way. Putting my, So let's move on here.
Middle class.
I just had to say that again. I mean, it's going to be a word that is going to become obsolete. What's a middle class? What does that mean? Someone's commenting here. In the U.S., over 50% of tax money gets spent on the military. Yes, the military-industrial complex. So one thing that's really concerned me, huge. I woke up this morning, I'm looking at RT. I'm looking at different news outlets, what's going on in the news, what's happening. One thing that I'm coming, like, it's really hard for me to digest, is that Turkey has rolled into Syria again, and it's setting up a 30 or 40 kilometer buffer zone into its border. I mean, try doing that on the Canadian border, where the U.S. would come in and do 30 kilometers of the Canadian border as a buffer. Like, imagine trying doing that somewhere else. Okay, someone's calling in. Let's see if this phone works. Hello, you're live. Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? I could hear you. That's good.
Good, your phone works.
So where are you calling from?
This is in Alberta.
Oh, you're in Alberta. That's right. Oh, did you call in before last week?
I did.
Oh my God, how you doing? How was your week?
Good. Busy, hustle.
Yeah, it's reality. You know, when I barely graduated from high school, that's when reality kicked in, and it's never stopped.
Yeah, and I wish I didn't go to college.
Did you go to college? Sorry, I missed you there.
I did, yes.
What
I
did-
got a finance diploma.
You got a finance diploma.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about what's happening right now with the banks rigging rates? How does that make you feel?
How does it make you feel? A bunch of crap, but they're just doing it to, make money, I guess.
Well, they have quotas to hit, and you know who I think is to blame are the underwriters. The underwriters are the ones that ultimately approve the deal, and I just can't believe underwriters would do things like that to put customers in danger.
I don't think they care about the customers. They're just doing their job. They don't really
Yeah, well,
care.
Well, the banks never care about customers. You know that, but misinforming people is another thing.
Yes. So basically, people who have an adjustable rate, their rates are going to go up.
And then now, so how do you feel about the stress test now?
The thing, I think it's kind of necessary, right?
Well, they have to raise the rates because the U.S. economy GDP is going up, and if we don't find a way to compete with it, we're going to fall behind. We'll become another Mexico.
Yes. That's so you're raising the rates. I know, basically, they're make Canada's money worth more selling bonds. I get that part.
But if they didn't depend Canada, if Canada wasn't so dependent on the housing market for its economy, it would be different right now because everyone would afford their homes and interest rates would be high, but everybody would be paying their homes off in 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's the situation we're in. So
That's right. But the stress test, I think it's necessary because sometimes people buy houses for their addiction.
they buy houses for what?
They buy houses that they can't.
Yeah, people kind of, well, of course, people get in, people need to remember that the most important investment decision you'll ever make in your life, or the biggest investment in your life, is a house.
Yeah.
And people are forgetting that they're playing with the banks are playing with people's future.
Yes. For the stress test, I think, well, isn't it just a test thing? If the rates go up, will you be able to afford it? That's all the test is, really.
Yes. So what it is they're going to put you into this total debt service ratio thingy, okay? Did you watch that video I did a few days back where I'm trying to get that deal to work? And there was a house for sale for $700,000. It's from a few days back. Do you remember that video?
So,
Okay, it's right here. I'll show you what it looks like here. I'm going to put it up on screen. You got it? Everyone's commenting saying this is the best video I've ever made. It's this one here.
yes, I saw the video. Basically, you got to be the 177 or 168,000
Yeah,
quarter million. No, an $800,000 house.
exactly. With $100,000 down with your TDS to fit. If your TDS fits, and that's provided you have no lines of credit, no credit cards, and no car loans.
That's never happened.
Yeah, so I'm just putting that out there. That video is gaining traction. It's got 976 views. So if you haven't seen this video yet, This video, actually, people watching, please watch the video and share it, get it out there. So, how do you feel about YouTube basically running ads on my videos and not paying me for them anymore?
That's crazy. I heard that from what's it called, Walking Journey. That
Yeah, Anthony. And it's putting us in a precarious position. You know what I'm saying? Are you still there? Okay, we lost her. We lost her. Phone's working better. So people, if you call in, try and call, speak up, I guess. I don't know why, but I guess it's these phone signals and stuff that are just not, this is a landline, so this should be working, guys. Phone number's 250-800-1489. Call in, speak loud, just wake up everybody in the house. And they're like, what are you doing? It's just like, I'm just talking to Mike in the night.
Middle class.
That's right.
Middle class.
I have to say that 3 times an hour. So that's my Tourette's words for today. My Tourette's word is middle class. So California in the pits. Silicon Valley bringing in the money. Silicon Valley bringing in the money. And people are, wow, what's this thing? This thing, I could barely see this. Rank state official percentage. Percentage in poverty official versus supplemental 2014. Okay, here, let's zoom into this. This won't open. Let me try and zoom into this thing. Here we go. So Old Miss is first for percent in poverty, and then supplemental is California. Okay? Then Louisiana is second, and Florida is second for supplemental. New Mexico is third, followed by Louisiana in third. So, this is not good, people. California would make the top of the list. What are the odds? With so much GDP, so much capital outflow and inflow, so much capital going into Hollywood and Silicon Valley, and all the pedophiles. How is this happening? And let's go back to this Syria story. I'm really concerned about this. How will the new front in Syria work? So this is, guys, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but I honestly think the next front, that our World War III, or I think we're in World War III, will be in Syria. I think it will take place in Syria. I think it will be the grounds. Because I see Syria and Russia very close, of course. Been for, the last 50 years. I see the United States with the Kazakhstanian people and supporting them and creating that buffer zone on the Syrian border. And then I see China, and then you have Russia supporting Iran. It's like we don't need to pick sides. This is not a chess game. Our lives are not a chess game. Stop messing with our lives. Those banks, basically, that are out there misinforming people or rigging rates to potentially destroy someone's future, shame on you. That's disgusting. When someone needs to go out and buy their home, support their family, especially the working poor that needs to get out there and make a difference in lives. So someone's commenting, how did I find my house? I just went on MLS.ca. You get to see homes for sale. You get to see what the average price is going for. And I just found this house on MLS. I saw the square footage. Oh, this house is big. It's got lots of rooms. It's going to have my theater room, my office to work out of, which is doing really well. I'm going to do an updated video on my small business from home to get people motivated. It's perfect. It's what I need. I couldn't find these bells and whistles in Vancouver, and if I did, it was going to cost me $15 million or $16 million for the amount of land I have in the backyard. I could have a football match. I'm not giving in to a $2 million house. Someone's calling in. Let's see if this works. Oh, they hung up. I know a few people who work as bankers. Trust me, a lot of them can't see the bigger picture. Again, that's in the comment section. Walking Journey, can you call in and see if my phone's working? Walking Journey does these check-ins to make sure I'm okay, to make sure I'm on topic, and to make sure things are going according to plan. And Walking Journey is my backup. So this is what's happening on the border here, and I think it's very troubling. Very troubling what's going on. I don't know why this is happening. And there's a guy here with a tie. Never trust someone with a tie. Never trust a person with a tie. That guy's got a tie too. I don't trust him. You don't trust people that wear ties. And there's no images here from the ground. So let's move into this. I saw this, and Turkey steps up its assault on Kurdish militia in Northern Syria. Let's see who it is. Hello, you're live.
Hey, Mikey, it's Jasmine.
Jazzy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I could hear you perfect, loud and clear. That's so good. My phone's working, thank God.
Okay, I just wanted to try out because you were saying somebody should try it.
Yeah, so what's going on? I know you sent me a few articles this week. A couple of them with what's happening in North Vancouver, a couple of them with what's happening, what's the other one? With the whole poverty thing going on.
Poverty thing going on, yeah.
So, okay, you're in Vancouver. So, do you remember that article you sent me about that house in Coquitlam for $700,000?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you remember that video I made in follow-up about how much money you need to make to buy that house?
No, I did not. I was a little bit busy, so I wasn't able to watch that.
You better watch the video. It's in my thing here. It's called Housing Crisis, Realistic Borrowing. I took the house you sent me.
Okay.
And I worked the numbers through a TDS, through a total debt service ratio. I clicked all the boxes with the new stress test through CIBC's lending application. And basically watch it, because you'll see how much money you need to make to be able to own that house with putting $100,000 down, with no student loans, bank loans, lines of credit, or car loans.
Right. Wow.
So you got to see how much you'll actually be like. You won't believe how much you have to how much you have to make to buy that house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's new? What's going on?
No, I just got back into town. I was with Hiroshi at Hope, and he's going to make his way up to Salmon Arm for this upcoming week for his road trip, and hopefully he makes some surplus income and come back into Vancouver again the following week.
Good. Tell him if you go into Salmon Arm, maybe to stop here on his way home.
I did. I told him. I'm like, okay, you should probably stop by Merritt and check it out.
Yeah, he's been already at my house. He slept here before. I just, if he wants to stop and take a layover here, get it layover, and if he wants to crash here, it's not a problem.
For sure, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hope was a great like quick getaway. One of his work buddy had a cabin home there, facing the Kakawa Lake.
Okay.
And it's amazingly beautiful, and it was peaceful and serenity. It was just a nice getaway from the city. It's
yes. Would you live in a town like that?
Refresh. I think I would because it's so peaceful, serenity, and there was no internet at the house, so. I had to use my phone data for a day or two, but it was still quite good. And the people, we walked through the neighborhood a little bit by foot.
Yeah.
And the neighbors were really nice. People were walking their dogs, and it's a beautiful city, I believe.
It's what Canada's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think the city life sometimes it just bogs people down a lot, and especially for me when I have dual income, and I have a full-time 40 hours job and a 15 hours on top of that. It gets to you, and you just gotta get away for a little bit and chill.
So
yeah.
So a lot of so do you see why a lot of the youth? Did you see a lot of young families when you were in Hope?
No, because we were just around the lake area, so we didn't really get into this.
Okay.
But I believe so. I'm pretty sure. Like small little town like Hope, and especially yours, Merritt.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of younger professionals at age 30 and 40 are trying to leave the city, because the city, for me and Hiroshi, we live in a laneway home that's only 700 square footage, and we're paying total of the rent is 1,200, not even including the utility bill. So, and now there's a rental bidding war going on, and that's even worse because the last 2 summers that I've looked into bigger coach and laneway homes, very hard. There'll be people carrying their damaged deposit, checking out homes, and literally put down the damaged deposit right away.
Wow.
It's getting way too ridiculous, and it's so hard. We want a bigger square footage, but it's very hard, especially our area. We live in the South Vancouver area, and it's nuts. You've got laneway homes that's very small square footage, and landlords are charging ridiculous price. You're looking at $1,800 to $2,000 right now for 700 square footage laneway home.
That's
It's nuts.
beyond. It's beyond.
Yeah, it's very nuts.
It's like people wouldn't even fathom this. It's like, did everyone just make an extra $20 an hour overnight for these prices to go up like this?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'm baffled. It wasn't like this at all back in the year of, I think, 2013, 2014. It wasn't like this.
No.
It got really worse the last 3-4 years.
Because that was around the time where Canada started depending on housing. I don't know if you remember when the oil crashed and stuff. That's around the time when Canada started depending more on housing to prop up its economy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so once you get a country dependent on something to boost its or prop its economy up, that's what usually happens, right? And they want it to go up because they want the housing to go up because that props more and lines more pockets of the politicians and lines more pockets of the banks and all the people involved in this whole scheme, right? So
I agree.
So what do you like? I mean, like in marriage, I mean, there's a lot of jobs. Like, I mean, you could work at different jobs here too. There's a lot of jobs like in different sectors. Like I know a woman that's working in a mill, in a lumber mill, but she's working as, what do you call it, clerical in the office.
Oh.
There's a lot of jobs like that. There's a lot of jobs, like if you know where to look, you could find them. Someone was telling me if I knew someone that was good with clerical skills to work in one of the mills as, working on just doing, I don't know, like whatever you call that, like, that you do in offices.
Administration?
Pencil pushing.
It's more administration. Yeah, for me, like I'm earning, not to brag or anything, but I'm earning $20 an hour in Vancouver. Very hard to just, without no experience, just to get into that $20 experience job income. But
isn't it better to make $14 an hour and not have to worry?
That's true. I could do that, but I'd rather work 20 an hour. I don't know why.
Well, because you're programmed for that, right? You obviously want to make 20 an hour, but you're in a higher tax bracket, so you're really making in reality, what, 17, 16 an hour?
Yeah, because you get taxed at the end of the day, every fiscal year you get taxed. But then, I do want to make that $50K income at the end of the day, then I would be okay. I would be happy about it. But, it's very hard to climb the corporate ladder here in Vancouver. It's not easy. I mean, just for me, just to get a dollar wage increase, it's at least, multiple years just to get that increment increase.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. So, are you seeing a lot of people leaving your job to move to cheaper towns like I did? Are you seeing a lot of people leaving your area, younger families leaving? Because I saw that when I was in Vancouver.
I think so, but our next door neighbor, they purchased a home outskirts. So I think people are definitely getting away from the city. But you have to be comfortable living in the outskirts, smaller towns. Because if you're prone to city life, you're going to get bored and you're not going to love the outdoors and the outskirts of out towns, right?
But it's the reverse. If you like the outdoors, you want to be in the country, the fresh air, the rivers, the streams, the lakes, the fishing, the hunting, right?
Yeah, you have to love it.
So,
if you just move just to save a couple bucks and just to move outskirts and you don't love it, it's not really worth it.
You got to be an outdoorsy type person.
Yeah, you have to be an outdoorsy monkey.
And you got to be a very social person because everybody talks here.
Exactly. And I'm pretty I'm really personable, approachable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could, live in a small town, but I have to love it. I have to want it, and then I have to love it. If you're more like a city person, I have to go to TNT supermarket, and there's no TNT in Merritt, and then you have certain vegetables that you want in Asian cuisine that you don't have in out town, and then you can't make the food, and you might not like it. And if people want sushi all the time, oh man, that's going to be tougher if you move outskirts.
We have a sushi buffet here.
Do you?
Oh, it's really good. When you guys come visit, I'll take you out there and show you.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good, actually. It's extremely good. The owner's actually Japanese, too, and the workers are Japanese.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actually Japanese. They left Vancouver, and I think it was in 2014 or 13, and they changed the place around, and it's really good. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's I have a good time when I eat there. But let me ask you one thing, Jasmine.
Sure.
What do you think of the first article I read on my show, how $262 per pill cancer drug that could save her life isn't covered by BC?
Oh, man. It's not covered by MS, or you're not.
Yeah, that was my first article I read, and there's a lady that's basically suffering, and basically the cure is there, but she can't afford the pill.
Oh, my God. Well, that's not good, number one. The government should be able to pay for that pill because she's dying, but at the end of the day, the government only cares for themselves, how much they can make out of somebody who's dying, which is ridiculous. You can say anything you want about the government, but that's their main purpose. They want to squeeze as much money out of you for their own purpose and gain. So that I'm sorry to hear that. That's really, really bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think they should get rid of MSP altogether. And though we quote unquote, we say our health in Canada is the best health system in Canada. Not really, because if you think about it, for me, for example, I have to go for a CT scan within the next 7 months. My waiting list is 7 months. You have other people that's in the wait list that could take a year or two just to see a specialist. It's crazy. So, I mean, why are we paying so much MSP premiums to it, and we're not getting the best of the best service that we can get?
Exactly. That is the main question. And I thought that BC is a very liberal province. I thought, being such a liberal province and very socialized medicine, I thought maybe they would pay for this pill for her, right?
I would assume so, but, knowing that you have certain low income bracket, you should be able to get that coverage. But because I guess it's a special cancer drug, I guess it's not covered. But that's ridiculous. So if you're lower than a certain income bracket, it should get covered.
Yeah, it has to be $262 per pill. That's about $210 US.
That's very expensive. I don't know how that person is going to afford it. Number one, if they have a low income bracket, that's even worse and even tougher. And afford that per pill. So I feel bad for that person, but we need to somehow have a good healthcare system referendum somehow. It's crazy.
We need to take it back to the drawing board, is what it is. We need to go back to square one.
Yeah,
and find a way. It's like, I'm not saying let's give free medication around and stuff like that. I mean, there's other medications that get given out freely and stuff. I think especially for cancer patients, especially this lady was a very hardworking lady. You could tell in her eyes that she's, I just feel like she's being robbed, and she feels it too. Like robbed, not like she's being.
Yes.
Like
at the end of the day, it's
yeah, it's not being robbed about the money. It's just being betrayed.
Betrayed. Yeah, that's the word I was going for too.
Yeah, and I don't know what to say about this, because that was, if you go back to the beginning of my show, if you scroll to the beginning, you'll see that article. It's one of the first ones I read, and it was very touching. It was definitely something that we get a good eye opener for everybody.
It is, and to say the least, John Horgan is the new elected premier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going back on his promises, but I've heard that they might start tolling, roads just in general everywhere you go. And why are we getting told? Why should we get told at the end of the day? If you don't have enough money, don't build it. But I don't know. It frustrates me because John Horgan took away that whole Portman tolling system, and now he's gonna try some other way to squeeze money for the government to earn back that revenue. I don't know. It's BS after BS after BS.
Yeah, it's one trip after another, and it's another disaster after another, and it's taxing on us. It's really taxing on us, and I'm not talking about paying taxes. I'm telling you, it's taxing us where it's bringing us down as human beings.
I totally agree, and I think every politician has some tricks up their sleeve, and we somehow are made to believe their promises, and then we vote for them. And same with Trudeau. Me and Hiroshi, we both regretted voting for Trudeau, but at the end of the day, we wanted Harper out. So that was one of the big. We couldn't vote for Moclair. Moclair was a little bit, old, and his way of thinking could be a little bit different. But we voted for Trudeau, and Trudeau still, to this day, I don't know what has done so far, but a lot of people sometimes is bad. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, BC Liberal is a problem.
Someone's commenting in the comment section, is she blaming the NDP for BC real estate problems? No, she's not. She's someone in the comments is commenting. No, she's discussing how the healthcare system is going to hell in a handbasket or handbag or whatever you want to call it. But that's what she's discussing. We're discussing here about what's happened with that.
I'm not blaming NDP for the BC Liberal mistakes, but they have to fix the problem that BC Liberal made, and it's like. People are blaming Trump for the mistakes that Obama couldn't fulfill. Mm-hmm. There's only certain things that Obama could fulfill, but you cannot blame Trump at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of...
Every word that he said, was trying to fulfill and try to make the promises. Same with BC Liberals. BC Liberals did the same thing. It was racked up millions and millions of dollars, and it's, and for NDP... John Horgan has to come in and fix every single problem. It's hard. I
don't think he could do it in 4 years. I think you could try to do it in 4 years. The only thing I could see happening that would make any proper sense is for Canada to get off the whole British rule or whatever we have. You know how we have crown land we can't build on? You have to ask the Queen for permission to become Prime Minister and all that crap, right? I think once we get off the whole British thing and become really independent, I think British Columbia, Alberta, they should just become their own countries, become independently governed by their own people, and actually pass laws. So it doesn't have to be so federal. You know what I'm trying to say? They just keep it in a province. They keep the province independent from the rest of the country. They do, they fix their internal problems in every major city, and they take care of the poor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I think, I'm thinking outside the box, really outside the box, and Canada going off the British, Canada's not really independent, to be honest with you. Because if I need to get permission from the Queen of England to become Prime Minister, there's a big problem there, right?
Yeah, you have to go through Governor General.
All that stuff, and then they would look at me and laugh. They'd be like, this guy? Yeah, maybe he's for the people, but, I don't speak French, so I'm screwed, right?
Right.
But I speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And Portuguese, and I could go down to Venezuela and talk to Nicolas Maduro. I could go to Brazil and speak to the president there. Michael Temer. I could go and talk to people fluently. I don't need a translator. But because I don't speak French and can't go to, where is it, Haiti? Was it Haiti, and what's that other country that speaks French? I don't know, one of those there.
I can't remember, but I know Haiti.
Yeah. Huh? So... Oh. Anyways, I want to thank you for calling in. I'm going to be wrapping up the show. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I've been here, and talking about these topics. I look forward to looking at everyone's comments below. Jasmine, watch the video. It's called Housing Crisis Realistic Borrowing. Okay, watch it. Check it out.
I will do that.
Okay, guys.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I was going to say hi.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, someone's calling in again. Looks like it hung up. It's probably Walking Journey. It's probably Walking Journey calling it. Anyways, I'm shutting off the open lines because I want to go to sleep. It's getting late. I've been packing up items and boxes here. I want to thank everyone for joining. Read some of the articles I read tonight. Comment on the video. Share this. I'm nobody of importance. All I'm doing is just reading what's out there, kind of discussing what's out there, not analyzing or super looking into stuff or connecting the wrong dots or fake news. I'm just trying to talk. And that's why it's a Ranson Lifestyle with Mike in the Night. Thank you for joining me. I don't know how that's even ringing right now, but that's probably the Walking Journey. But we'll get him next week. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday to Ranson Lifestyle. Don't forget to join me Wednesday night for my video series, Trends in the Housing Market. I want people to be calling in this. No one called in last week. I want to know what's happening in your neck of the woods. If you're in Australia, if you are in New Zealand, I don't care where you are. I want to know what the housing problem is. This Wednesday, don't forget to tune in 7 p.m. Tijuana time. And anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and salute to everybody. Thanks for watching.